Ducktales 20 Years Later by Anonymous number 9643053, episode 8. In the sunny streets of Duckburg, there's a small, humble hospital, the St. Melody Cancer Hospital for Sad Orphans. It's a Catholic-run mission, but operated non-denominationally. The name refers to the exclusive clientele of up-to-date treatment centers and counseling services. Only orphans with cancer were allowed in, and were treated for the kindly sisters of the Order of St. Melody. In the hospital's learning ring, all the children gathered every weekday, promptly at 7 o'clock, to be taught their daily lessons. They sat there, in their little desks or rolling beds, like a carton of eggs with their bald tops and shiny faces. In front, the headmistress of lessons, a kindly-faced old dog by its sister Mary Maxilodian, was writing a series of words on a board for today's vocabulary. She knows one of the smaller boys with his hand raised. "Yes, Paul?" she asked, her crinkly little voice letting Paul know that whatever he said was the right thing to say. "Sister, why are you feeling evacuated?" asked the small boy. "I heard on the radio that Duckburg has been attacked by crooks." The sister merely smiled and walked up to her young charge. "We can't let attack by some criminals face us, children. The aim of this hospital is to give you all treatment you so desperately need." She walked down the aisle of the class. The boys and girls couldn't help but want to touch her robes as she went by. "Some of us can't move properly, or in the middle of treatment. It would be dangerous for us to get around the chaos outside. The best we could do is simply stay here." She turned as she heard a small, demure knock on the door. She walked over and opened it, revealing a small girl, bald as an eagle, holding a cardboard box. Miss Helonian's eyes took on a gently disciplinary quality. "Susan, class started about 20 minutes ago." "I'm sorry, Sister Mary Mixolonian," said the little girl. She stepped into the classroom, set down the box. "I'm here because I promise." "Let's hear it then." "It's my kitty. She was sick last night, but now she's all better." You see her small box open at the corners. She let the brown box for cardboard fold up and over, revealing the contents. "So your kitten's all her own." Sure enough, the little white cat was surrounded on all sides by 8 little newborn kittens, suckling and mewing at her mother. Rivers caught out delight and crowded around the box. But nobody was more pleased than Sister Mary Mixolodian. "Oh, how wonderful, the miracle of life. I feel, I feel inspired, children. Please, take your seats." As the boys and girls sat back down, Susan placed the box carefully on the teacher's desk, and then rummaged through a small closet. "Such a sweet thing. It's given me the inspiration I needed to finish my new song. Would you like to hear it?" "Yes, sister," the class said in chorus. "The vocabulary can come later. It's music time now. And I'm giving about 5 minutes before this all goes to hell." The beaming smile beneath her black habit, Miss Lottie pulled a guitar out of the black leather case and sat on her desk next to the box of kittens. She began to pluck out a few simple sweet tunes and sang a lifting melody that made everyone who heard it feel better about themselves, the world, and God. Little Billy noticed something by his window and smiled. He did with the window open, letting the cool breezes flow through the class, filled with music and love. A herd of butterflies and bluebirds came from perched on the bushes outside, began to fly around the classroom, a few coming to rest in on gentle, sloping shoulders and head, and the rest circling around, smiling, gasping classroom. Having gotten the vicious tune in their head, the classroom began to sing along. Their sweet voices, honed by years of mandatory choir practice, fell into an easy, instinctive harmony that caused the simple tune to take on all the bad feelings of the world and turn them upside down. Then, with a bang, the door to the hall crashed in loudly. "Oh, thank God!" The butterflies and birds scattered and escaped through the open window into the room, poured 3 men in orange sweaters. One of them pointed a pistol at Sister Mary Mixolodian and fired, striking her in the leg and causing her to drop the guitar, screaming in pain. All the cancer-ridden orphans, unused to seeing such a violent display of blood splashing from her wounds, screamed in terror. One of the children managed to swallow a passing butterfly and began to choke, causing the children nearby to perform CPR on him, allowing the historical nature of the class. Braincase Beagles blew the smoke from the barrel of his gun. "I love my job." The noble blue of the officer's uniform clashed violently against the dark blacks of his elite squad team. was clothed in riot gear, batons, and long clear shields. Underneath his hat was a thinning mop of silver and purple hair, steadily burning prematurely gray from the stress of the events. The dog was a bit ponce, but had the look of someone who, at the time, was absolutely in control of every nearly moment their body made. At the moment, he could still run rings around people half his size. His team stood in attention in a line on the road outside Duckburg. It was dark outside, but the light from the full moon and the riots of the city was more enough to illuminate the captain as he spoke.
Men, we are the finest officers St. Canard's force has. Our sister city's in trouble and needs the help we can get. This is primarily a rescue mission in conjunction with the local authorities. You each have been briefed on the situation. Now move out!
With a salute, each man piloted the huge black vans. The three carts moved to the city quickly, disappeared over the horizon and into the city. Oh, now, the captain took off his hat and began to fan himself, as though it were a bulwark against the muggy night. Good evening, Captain O'Hara. The captain jumped about 2 feet in the air before turning around to find the source of the noise. He saw the masked man sitting on the edge of the roof of his squad car. Darkening, Doc. You must correct us sneaking up on me like that. Where have you been? Sorry, I gotta do the Irish voice now. Sorry, Cap, he said. I had to be elsewhere. Status on the attack? Mopping his brow with his sleeve, Captain O'Hara nodded his head. Right. The sinking art strike team has just rolled into the town. The National Guard and various agents of that secret agent thing, Schwartz or something, they're in there. The BBs have been delivering an isolated one area of the city. The party to city was St. Melody's hospital for adorable collateral damage, you mean? Yes, that's what I called you here. We need a superhero such for this one. Funny. Usually the boys in blue don't want us anywhere near their cases, especially volatile hostage situations. Nobody yes, but we're desperate. As there is twagging, Captain O'Hara began to pace back and forth in front of the police blockade. All of my men in the National Guard are occupied cleaning up the parts of the city. Schwartz is just taking a backseat role, trying to find more evidence against Julie Duck. She eyeballed the police captain from her perch. Anything to that, Cap? As soon as I talked to you, said it was a rock. Dewey Duck was behind it. Written to duty. I remember when I was a young man following my duck stories in the papers. I can't believe that little kid grew up to be a grand one. He sighed hoarsely and placed the hat back on his head. My kids were terrified when I told them about him. They said he always looked like the bad guy. Reminds me of my dad telling me about that famous Phantom lot from back when we used to live in Wooston. I'd love to hear about Mooston. I really would. But if I'm going to save a hospital full of nuns and orphans, I better get started. Just one more thing before you go. Oh, Darkwing leaned back on the siren lights. I'd never liked the sound of one more thing. What is it? I don't want you to work it at all, so I got some of the local color to help you. He should be arriving at any minute now. Cap, you know I work solo. Not this time you don't. Suddenly, there was a revving sound, like a race car at its starting line, getting ready to drag out. Captain O'Hara's face lit up. Here he is now. Blatherskite! Called a heroic voice resonating through the night air. Darkwing found her head in her hands. Not him. Anyone but...
Never fear, citizens!
said a voice, dripping with self-important heroism.
Yasmo Duck is here!
He was a duck, true to his name, showing silvery white with the top of his visor helmet to the bottom of his torso, was ended in a strange unicycle. As he approached the speeds upward to Mark III, he screeched to a halt, stopping on a dime and clicking of a cloud of dust, was fatally failed to stick to and tarnish his shiny look.
Captain O'Hara, I presume, and
His voice took on a fairly disgusting quality of annoyance.
Darkwing Duck.
Darkwing sighed, jumping down in the car. Don't get your wheelie in a twist, goody one-wheels. We've got some hostages to save.
Indeed! Climb on my back. I can carry you.
I would rather take myself if you don't...
I insist,
said the metallic wonder as he picked up Darkwing boldly, slung her over his shoulder at a fireman's lift.
Very well, Captain. We'll be back in a jiffy.
Thanks, Cap. You're a real peach. With that, the two heroes were wheeling off into the city, disappearing as they screeched around the bend. O'Hara sighed, crossing his arms as he watched them go, returning and climbing into his car, silently both thanking and lamenting those crazy superheroes his town seems to turn out. All the children had been stuffed to the gills inside the small rehab clinic. Beds had been wheeled in containing the sicklier patients. Little Susan was watching over her box, containing her cat and kittens. The nuns were a bunch over one side of the room, nursing an ailing sister Mary Mixolydian. Boner and Ballast had taken up guard duty, of two groups, Ballast pointing his large chain gun at the bald children, and Boner holding a shotgun, while leering at the defenseless nuns.
Can I take them out back for in case? Can I? He said. I won't hurt her too much. She'll be good as a hostage. Sweat percolating on his brow, he spoke. Remember the nuns at St. Brute's brain case? I never forgot them. Come on, just this once, for Sister cranks out.
No, dummy, yelled the diminutive brain-case beagle. He was pacing around the room with a handheld radio, waiting for a call from the negotiators to trumpet his demands. You should stand guard. If you're dick deep in some nun when the cops come, we need you here.
Oh, brain case.
That's final. Suddenly, the conversation was cut off by a droning buzz over the radio.
Oh, oh, come in, bigger boys.
Sup, bird brains? He yelled to his companions. As the fuzz come to Peter Piper. Hello?
We've come to discuss the terms of the release of the hostages.
A smile across his face. Braincase began to speak smoothly into the radio. We want $2 million, no, $3 million each in cash. No funny business with marked bills. We want a helicopter for our getaway, and a release of all the Beagle fellas you have in prison today. Got me? There was a gulp on the other end of the line.
Not brain case. That's quite a bit.
Same as Spanky. Those are the terms. If not, we got bombs hidden all over the place. We'll just take the entire building with us if we notice any funny business. Goodbye. Hey, but it was too late. Braincase had taken the batteries out of the radio and placed them down on a nearby table. Alright, Mollies, now we wait for Peter to flow right into our hands. Over the laughs and cries of happiness resounding from the Beagle's bellow, the shadowy form of Darkwing Duck nodded. Bombs, huh? We gotta find and disarm them. Darkwing, sitting crouched on the edge of the roof of a purple gargoyle, spoke to Gizmo Duck, who, it seems, never heard of the concept itself. To lose an important bargaining chip and
What are the hostages?
Bombs are more important to the hostages.
I respectfully disagree.
Too bad, Darkwing said, coming up before he could give out his reasons. If we don't take out the bombs, we'll have to worry about them killing us and the hostages. If we do, we'll only have to take out the hostages.
But every moment we wait on the hostages is another moment something truly terrible could happen.
Her light fingers came to touch her forehead as he spoke. Are we really going to argue about this?
Apparently.
Listen, Gizmo, here's a compromise. You keep the Beagle Boys busy. Make sure they don't blow the place up. I'll try to find all the bombs. Is that a good enough plan for you? The silver-plated arms crossed slowly.
I suppose it's workable?
All right. Cena held out her hand. Got any Gizmo to figure out what the bombs actually are?
Of course. One moment.
Gizmo Duck pressed a button on his chest, and a large satellite popped out of his head. For a moment, it seemed like he would lose balance thanks to the new top weight, but managed to stay up on his wheel. It just spun around for a moment, and a loud printing noise emanated from his chest. Soon, a long sheet of paper split out to the ground, where Darkwing Duck picked up and looked over. Good, thanks. I'll see you after I've saved the day. So he jumped off the side of the building. Gizmo Duck, not being outdone, rolled over the edge and called out,
Not if I saved it first!
Well, it seems no matter the universe, Darkwing's still going to have a rivalry with Gizmo Duck. The muffled rustle of the cape was the only sound as the terror that flashed in the night worked her way through the air ducts towards the first bomb. After hitting an intersection, she stopped and looked around. In the glowing dark, she saw a small red light blinking off and on. She approached and saw behind a slow-moving fan circulating through the ducts a bundle of dynamite attaching to an old-fashioned alarm clock by 3 wires. Dad, began Darkwing Duck, starting to work on the bomb. Are you there? It's me, Goslin. I'm sorry I don't talk to you so often anymore, but I've been so busy with work. I suppose you want to hear about every little thing that's happened. There's this boy I like. Don't look at me like that, Dad. It's not like that. I'm sure you would like him. He's a bit of an idiot. He has his moments. He is older than I am by, well, a lot. Oh, Dad, please don't judge until after you met him. He's a nice boy, I promise. He's another cape, by the way. Don't mention it. No, if I mention that. Calls himself the Green Ham. Good name, but he's at a point where he doesn't know what he should focus on. He's got all these silly little toys. Did I miss it? He's loaded? Oh, that makes me sound so sallow. Forget I said that. Anyway, I'm doing well. Swinging up in the air, ducks of a hospital, trying to remember if it's a red wire or blue wire. But I'm doing just fine. It's nobody you ever tangled with if you're curious. It's in Duckburg. They don't get much keep activity as we do at St. Canard. Just crooks. Big boys they call 'em. Big old gang of lifers. You like them. You don't feel guilty when you punch them. Since I called, I got up against good old buddies. Cream Fan got blindsided by burst root. He's doing fine. Doesn't seem to age, but that stupid fly trap seems to get bigger and bigger every time I see it. Then GP got us a lead against, get this, that old whoremonger Steelbeak. Turns out I led him all the way to Brazil and beyond. Look at me. Feel like I'm blushing. Why am I talking about Louis? That's his real name, Louis. Louis Duck. I got bombed to the fuse. Changing the subject. I'm teaming up with Gizmo Duck right now. He seems to be even worse when you teamed up with him, if that's possible. It's almost like they're not the same person. I'm starting to wonder if he's a legacy hero like me. Dad? Dad, I'm sure you're watching out for me. Dad, please, I want to see Louis again. I don't know why. He's such a common nutcase, but I need to start his bomb. A swing, Dad. Help me. Help me. Snip. Darkwing flinched, but nothing happened. No flash, no boom. As he sighed, laying out the big breaths he'd been holding in as she let her eyes wander. One down, four to go. Gonzalo said to her imaginary father, see you again in about 5 minutes. Is it wrong I want to see more chapters dedicated to Darkling?
Come on, Brinkies,
Bonner said, stroking the barrel of his gun viciously.
just one nun. One nun won't hurt and play it, will it?
For the last time, you cock-brained moron, no.
Come on, please. I'll give you my share of the profits. This is one of my all-time fantasies.
He tried to think of any other ways to sweeten the deal.
I'll even take the one with the leg wound. Nobody will miss her.
Braincase turned quickly to look up to his brother's eyes. There were sub-holes behind that cheap domino mask, that the Napoleonic Beagle couldn't help but groan at the very sight of it. Ooh, all right, take her. You got 20 minutes, you hear me?
Yippee! Come here, sister.
Sister Mary Mixolydian was too weak from the blood loss to properly fight out the Beagle. He picked her by the waist, slung her over his shoulder like a bag of potatoes. Her sister stood and began to approach. Not one step, ladies, or ballots turns your kitties into Swiss cheese. Instantly, the nuns backed down. Twin looks of fear, concern towards their young charges, and to their sister in distress. They had no choice but to watch in horror as Boner Beagle walked down to the hall, not even waiting until he was out of the room before undoing his pants. Braincase quickly stepped up to his game, now having one less guy to control the hostages with. Now, sit down, chickies, or I'll let him have another one of you. Get me? The sister said quickly, not wanting to risk the amorous advances of the predator outside. However, all heads in the room turned towards the exit door, and a scream pierced the night. A man screamed, a very high-pitched man screamed. Billis giggled, and Braincase out and laughed. Must have got a feeling or something.
Look around, villains!
Crash! Boner Beagle's shaped hole appeared in the wall next to the door frame, and from the force of Boner crossing at high speeds. From the other side of the frame, a Gizmo Duck-shaped hole appeared. It's that tin can! Get him, ballast! The fat Beagle raised the large gun to shoot down the newcomer, but Gizmo Duck was faster on the draw. A giant magnet appeared out of his arm and pulled a large metal gun towards him. Okay, who's really anxious to see Gizmo Duck in the new Ducktales series? Quickly, millions of metallic hands reached out from everywhere onto Power Duck's body. Each tendril sneaked out and grasped a bit of the gun, mercilessly ripping it apart and hiding the pieces away in his armor. He used the process by the suit's near limitless potential. Soon all that was left was the wood in the handle and the gunpowder from the bullets, both of which fell to the ground.
My gun!
Cried Balance in a beak-dooming voice. He began to tear up, as his mother had just been killed. Braincase stared at his two brothers, one writhing in ground pain, the other one crying like a baby over his gun. He found his pliers quickly. Don't start any closer, Tin-Face, or I'll set the timers on the bombs. Blow this place sky high. Nice plan, Bird Brain, said an air voice from above. One little problem with it, though. That moment, an alarm clock, useless and ticking, fell to the ground from the ventilator above Brain Case. It struck the ground with a harsh shattering sound. Clockwork flew out from behind the glass face. Brain Case stared at the clock. Fists slowly scanned upwards towards the vent, where the face of Darkwing Duck beamed down.
Darkling, you finished so quickly, called Gizmo Duck. I haven't finished all this Berrigan yet.
I've had inspiration. He quickly changed the subject by jumping out the vent, executing a quick somersault in the air, before landing in a crouch in front of the nuns. Give it up, Brain Case. It's over. I just disarmed all the bombs. Not all of them. He then reached in his pocket and pulled out a small plastic button, pressing it before either hero could react. Ha! I got all 5 bombs. Give it up. You've lost. Ha! As you were thinking, there are 6. A giant hammer extended from Gizmo Duck's hands, knocking Brain Case on the Brain Case, causing him to crumble to the ground. Children cheered as Brain Case went down, and Nuts couldn't help but give a smile. Gizmo! Screamed Darkwing. There's another bomb. Why did you knock him out? You could have told us where it was.
I didn't like his attitude. Besides, I can tell you where it is.
You couldn't find it before. You said there were